In today's show...
Yeah, tattoo magazines were the cheapest people in the world. You had to give them everything. They had a certain JPEG and the way they wanted
and
it.
You couldn't upload them anywhere. Like they had to be exclusive. So we would shoot all this content, which it wasn't even called content back then. And then we'd sit on those pictures until some magazine said, okay, we want them.
Did they pay you for the pictures?
No. You did that all for fucking, you know, to get seen.
That was the flex back then.
Hey, this is Paul Anthony from Think Different Tattoos podcast. I am your co-host, and today we've got Chico Cortez as my other co-host, and we've got two great guests. We've got Vany Vicious, and we got Taylor Marley. Thank you for joining us, both of you. And today we're going to get into their unique stories, and I think it's amazing that both of you got into the tattoo industry, became fans of it really young, and then kind of quickly moved into carving out your own space in it, which is really unique. Not everyone does that. So, Vany, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about how you got pulled into the tattoo industry. I know you then became a piercer, and Chico is still trying to get you to work for him. So, tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, so I started getting tattooed when I was like 14, 15. My dad took me to get my first one. So he's the reason I'm like this. And then as soon as I turned 18, I started doing piercings just because I fucking loved it. Worked in shops forever, and then kind of from there I was going to a lot of tattoo conventions, and I was getting approached by photographers there, and through that I ended up on like a major cover of a tattoo magazine back then, which was Savage, and I was like, I don't know, how old was I, fucking 18 or some shit, like no eyebrows, blue eyeshadow, it was disgusting. And yeah, and then from there I just started like tattoo modeling, and now here we are.
Now you have a whole enterprise.
Like 20 years later, just
tons of stuff
being
going
a creator and an online person.
Awesome, amazing. And then Miss Marley, you also got tattooed at a very young age, and that pulled you in. So tell us a little bit about your entrance into the industry.
Yeah. I started tattooing myself when I was like 12, and so my mom eventually caught on to it, and she was like, well, if you're gonna be doing this and you really like art that much, I might as well take you to get your first in-shop one. So I kind of built a really big appreciation for the industry from then on, because I got like full experience and like, oh shit, I like this. You know, this can be my passion and, you know, my career with art and making money throughout life and taking care of my daughter and stuff. So, you know, I bugged my mentor for like months before he actually brought me on. I would stalk him outside Walmart, like, please teach me. So finally he agreed to it, and I went many years with Chris, and then I opened my first shop when I was 18, and pretty much I wanted to just, you know, travel and be able to tattoo as many different people as I can, and just really grew a love of being able to help people express their art through a really physical form.
And did you hear she said she tattooed herself when she was 12? So you got your first tattoo machine when you were 9? How did that occur?
No. I got Indian ink and a needle and hid in the bathroom for a few hours. I was
okay. It wasn't that you got a rotary machine off Amazon.
What'd you tattoo on yourself?
I had a Bible quote on my foot. Yeah, with
you did your foot?
Your foot?
Yeah,
Wow.
on the side bottom of my foot, and I was like,
because you were hiding it. Right?
Yeah. And then the next thing was my fingers. And
that
what the Bible quote say?
We went,
yeah,
I know, you want to know, right? You know how many times I've looked at that and I was like,
you don't even remember?
No, I've gone through everything to be like, what was Taylor going through at that time? At 12. Some crazy shit.
And so then she saw that eventually.
My friend ratted me out, and she was like, look what your daughter did. My mom's like, it could be drugs, so it's not.
Bad. Yeah, right. This
cool
is just
mom.
art.
Yeah.
And then your first actual tattoo in a shop was, how old were you then?
13.
Right.
And I got this little Thailand butterfly on my back shoulder. It was for my papa that passed away. And that was an interesting experience. I'm not even gonna lie. When I had gotten there, I was so starry-eyed with, oh, shit, tattoo shop. Like, you know, I was just excited to be there. And so we go in the back room, and like I'm getting changed and stuff like that. I didn't realize that my artist had gotten fired 30 minutes before starting my piece.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was
that's
stoked
different
to be there. I was like, And so he was angry as a motherfucker. He comes in the room. He's like, "You ready to get this started?" And I'm just so excited. I'm like, "Yeah, this is going to be cool." He's drilling into my back the whole time. And I was like, "Is this supposed to hurt this much?" He's like, "Yeah, this is fine." I'd caught them talking and stuff that, he was fired and things like that.
That was his last tattoo at that studio.
Yes.
Wow.
And still loved it. Hurt like hell, this small room. But it was a really cool experience. So on the way out, I made sure, hey, I'll come back when I'm 18. Keep the booth open. It's up to the discretion of every shop there. I have no idea how I found this place to tattoo a 13-year-old, but
they did. And they took your mom's money.
That's why he got fired.
Right. Oh, he still did the tattoo. And then, wow.
So determined.
Wow.
Oh, I was determined.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then when did your apprenticeship start? At what age?
When I was 15. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wyoming.
Yeah.
Why not?
You can get away with anything.
You
can ride a horse through Taco Bell.
Why not? You could what?
You can ride a horse through Taco Bell. I've done it twice.
Wow. You can go through the Taco Bell drive-thru.
Yeah.
The horse.
Yeah.
Amazing.
If you take it anywhere.
In Miami, you can't even walk through a drive-thru.
In Hialeah, you could do that probably too.
Yeah. You can do anything if you got the finesse to it.
That's awesome. So at 15, you started your apprenticeship. Mm-hmm. And then by 18, so what was the 15 to 18 chapter like?
Oh, gosh. Well, during that time, I bugged my mentor for a while before he really brought me on. And in that time, I had met my ex and then was pregnant with my daughter when I was 16. I continued my apprenticeship and was working at this UPS store during the day, their morning times, and then I'd go in for my apprenticeship, do all my routine. And my mentor, Chris, he turned into a dad figure for me very quickly and was just like, we're going to bust through this. I'm going to teach you everything I know. And, that way you and your daughter are set up for life. And so I owe a lot to him.
Yeah. Once you learn how to tattoo,
yeah,
right, a lot of tremendous amount of flexibility.
There was a time, it got hard. There was a time though for when my daughter was about 1 to 2, things changed, and so I had to go work construction during the day, and then go tattoo.
You worked construction?
Yes, I was the only female on a full man crew, anywhere between electricians to heavy machine operators. And I was doing finishing carpentry. Okay. So I was going through all the rooms and making sure everything was good and doing all the little installation things. And most days I'd go in there. I didn't have a babysitter, so I would bring my daughter with me.
Really?
Yeah. So I had to be very careful on things and then make it over and go continue my apprenticeship.
You are not afraid of hard work.
Nope.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And you just go. You're like, this is what I got to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then so you opened your first shop at 18, right? And then a couple of years later, you've now come to Florida and you just opened a shop here 3 months ago.
The studio now.
Studio, okay.
Yeah,
you're doing the solo studio thing. Like so many artists. Yeah.
Yeah. Back to groundwork there because, I really appreciated being able to have my own space and that one-on-one time with my clients, really getting to know them instead of having to worry about what else is going on in the shop, whatever is going on over here, there. I can just focus on that with my client and then make them feel like they're really getting the best out of that experience.
Got it. And Vany, when you got into piercing, right? What was that apprenticeship like at Chico Cortez's March for Life?
No, she never worked for me. I met Vany much later. In fact, I was getting out of jail. And Vany was outside with a sign says, "I'm waiting for you for her boyfriend." And I asked her for a light, and then we started talking, and then she told me she was a piercer. But other than that, she never worked.
Mm-hmm. I was holding a sign. Yeah, I bet. When I started my apprenticeship when I was 17, I had just turned 17, and just random as fuck, I was driving through Hialeah one day, and I saw this little shop behind a dry cleaner. I popped in there. I'm like, hey, how do I learn how to do piercings?
Not my shop.
Mm-hmm. Not Chico's shop. And he still cries about it. I can't get him to fucking stop. But I walked in randomly, whatever, and I asked, and the guy was like, "Oh, I could teach you, but you're not 18, so you can't work in a shop or whatever." So I'm like, okay, cool. And he kind of it was a little ghetto. It was, back in the day. I'm fucking old now. But he sold me like a piercing kit. He explained to me what everything is, and he kind of started teaching me, and I was piercing like fake skin and fruit and whatever. And then after a couple weeks, I would just go there every day after school. And then I started taking my friends as my guinea pigs, and he would kind of like guide me through piercing their tongues, their belly, whatever the fuck. And yeah, as soon as I turned 18, he gave me a job, and at the time he had 3 shops. So after piercing for a bit, I started managing the shops as well, because piercers don't make any fucking money. And that was it. I kind of stayed in tattoo shops for like a while. And then just the tattoo modeling thing just kind of like fell in during that time. So I did both until I said, fuck tattoo shops.
Okay.
And never went back to work in a shop.
Yeah. It's a different take on things, you know, compared to some of our other guests. This one has owned a shop, and many of our other people have their own shops. But your experience has been, I want to go do something on my own. And in the piercing lane, it doesn't sound like
she did the same thing though. Private studio, like that, you know. So I don't know. I love the industry for what it is, and I grew up in it, like, you know, 16, 17 in tattoo conventions, getting tattooed at that same age, younger. You know, I used to date tattoo artists when I was younger, whatever the fuck. And I was always around it. But working in it at that time was completely different than what it is now. Completely different. I was always judged for being a woman. I never knew what the fuck I was talking about because I was a woman. If I would sell a tattoo to a walk-in client, you know, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's a woman, or like, I don't want to fucking talk to you. Where are the men in this shop? And it was very much like that at that time.
Wow.
She worked at the wrong shop.
Yeah, she wasn't at Chico's shop. That's
tell me
I'm. but those
he's
are what
in
you
an elbow distance of me right now. He's gonna get clocked.
And so, and what do you think that things are better now, or you just hope they're better now? Or?
I mean, it's obviously become like more of a mainstream thing to get tattooed. You're not so fucking weird. But back, you know, when I was 17, I had a half sleeve, and that was unheard of at that time. You know, this was what, 20 years ago or whatever.
Even in Hialeah.
Even in Hialeah, and I was in Hialeah, so it's like I have blue eyes. I look European as hell. I'm in an all Cuban city with a half sleeve. I'm getting judged by every fucking body, everywhere. So. You know, and at that age, like, you don't want to deal with that shit.
So how did you navigate it? How did you manage all
I mean,
of it?
I didn't really like have a choice. And, you know, the beauty of working in tattoo shops is like, fuck you. If you don't like the price, get the fuck out. You know, like, whatever.
The direct intensity was an outlet.
Yeah. And I worked, you know, the first shop I worked in was in the fucking hood. So I had to deal with a lot of, it's cheaper down the street at the fucking flea market. Okay, cool. Go to the fucking flea market then. Why are you here? So, I mean, whatever. It definitely helped me build character though. Like, you know, you gotta be tough to work in shops like that. Back then, every station had a gun in it or a bat. You know?
Yeah.
Now it's like you walk into an art gallery. Yeah. Back then it was like I might have to stab somebody today because some crackhead might come in and whatever, accuse us of taking his watch or some shit.
Yeah. Taylor, did you experience similar kind of I don't know, what do you call it, female misalignment or an imbalance, you know, as an up and coming female tattoo artist?
Absolutely. Especially coming from Wyoming area. I've been getting tattooed since young. I had my full leg sleeve by the time I was 15. And, you know, so a lot of people would right off the rip just judge me in, oh, she's, you know, probably living this type of lifestyle. And you could feel it in how a lot of people treated you. Or take it to the other nth degree where people think you're a sex object. And so instead of giving you that type of respect in the industry and things, it's, yeah, here, come on and, you know, work for me over here, do this over here. And they may not have the best intention. Recently, I actually had a gentleman work for me that he started telling people that you know, oh, I own this shop, like I just opened this not too long ago, this and that.
This was in the shop that you own.
This is actually one of the reasons why I decided to take a step back and get down to my own groundwork with things. Is just because I you saw how many people were going for that right away. And it got to a point where they would come into the shop, and I treat everyone with kindness, and I'm not judgmental of any kind. And so, they come in and just, oh, I don't want to talk to you. I'm looking for the owner of the shop. And I'm like, go look for them then. Go ahead. Go find them.
I'm going to go look in the mirror and get her for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, and it's really nice at that point too, because then you can pick and choose, like, you know what, get the fuck out of here. I don't feel like working with you. Yeah. But as a woman in the industry, like, we all get a lot more pushback than I think a lot of people are aware to, because it is such a male dominated industry. Nowadays, though, you see so much change with people kind of coming together, and things chilled out quite a bit. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of changes. You walk into a lot of shops and it feels like sometimes a dentist's office.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. And then you notice differences. I mean, you went from Wyoming to South Florida, so there was something that pulled you here. Was it culture, palm trees, beaches, all of the above? What had you say, I want to come to Miami?
My grandma and grandpa.
Oh, okay. You had family here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes it easy.
Yeah. They're they were the last family that we had. So my grandpa was facing some health problems, and I had some stuff I was dealing with back in Wyoming that kind of gave me that push forward to say, time to go. Yep. We just kind of packed up and it was like, well, time to go take care of the grandparents and get a new start in life. And I've learned to love it the more that I discover.
What I love about tattooing is that since you have the craft, you can go where you want. It's just awesome. I mean, there's just not a lot of fields like that, right?
No.
You could say, oh, well, I learned how to be a paralegal so I could go get a job. It's like, well, you
where does that take you?
Yeah, you can go on Indeed and answer a lot of, resumes, which, by the way, most of that work is getting eliminated by artificial intelligence faster than we can blink, right? But in tattooing, and piercing, right? It's like once you have those things down, you have this thing for sure that if there's humans and there's bodies and they're over 13 in Wyoming or 18 anywhere else,
anywhere else,
then you have the ability, to start earning a living and getting at it, right away, which I've always loved. Yeah, it's a trade. It's such a creative, artistic trade.
Let me ask you guys a question. You guys both got tattooed at a very early age. Any regrets? Do you feel like your tattoos helped you or hindered you in any way?
No regret.
I was just gonna say no regrets.
Regrets.
No regrets.
I have some stupid ass shit, but nah, I don't regret it.
No,
it's funny. Yeah. I feel like when you have a lot, you don't care that you have a bunch of shitty ones as well, right? It's just like they just blend in with the better looking ones.
There's a couple. Everything on me pretty much I've done myself, and I can remember every time period of my life, like what I was experiencing at those times, what I was thinking about when I was doing that. Why was I that fucking drunk tattooing myself? Just on to the things. But it's funny to look back because I don't regret a single thing. It's just like, oh, I know what was going on then. That's funny as fuck.
Well, you two are obviously hustlers, if I can say that word. What made it easier for you than some of the other women who are heavily tattooed or not heavily tattooed that were in the industry for a time or a brief time? What made you guys say, you know what? I'm not going to work for anybody else. I'm just going to do this for myself. Fuck everything.
I've always been the type of person that I do exactly what I'm going to say, what I say I'm going to do. And my mom wanted to kick my ass growing up because of it. Because I would go up to her and be like, I'm going to do this, that. And she'd be like, come on, seriously? And I'm like, I'm just letting you know. I'm not asking you for permission. This is what I'm going to do. And I've always done it. Anything I say I'm going to do, I fucking do it. Even starting my podcast, one day I'm like, I think I'm going to start a podcast. In a week, I had the studio space. I had it set up, decorated. I learned how to record and do everything I was fucking doing. And now I'm 30 episodes in,
Awesome.
I've just always been like that. And I think not everyone... not to talk shit or whatever, but not everyone has that, not everyone has that drive.
And your mom got used to you making these proclamations and then following through, right? And then eventually now if you tell her you're going to do something, she's like, all right, I'll see you at the finish line.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And your relationship with your mom, she was supportive?
Oh yeah, she's one of my biggest supporters from day one. You know, I told her that I wanted to go into the tattoo industry, and she made sure just to do all the self-educating that she could.
She took you to get your first tattoo at 13, right?
She was my first client.
She was your first client? Wow, okay. What about you in piercing? Family members, first clients?
I did pierce my mom, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Why not?
Yeah.
Okay,
She was like my second navel piercing ever.
Wow.
I was like, fuck it.
Trust my mom.
Yeah.
Nice. She really trusted you.
On the floor of my bedroom. She laid on the fucking rug. Like, she's like, do it.
Now you're a native from South Florida, right? So the town in Wyoming you came from?
60,000.
60,000. Okay, so
she's not from Florida.
Well,
she's from Hialeah. That's its own thing.
That's its own.
It's like
right. So in Hialeah, there's 60,000 people probably in 4 square miles of Hialeah, right? Probably. Yeah, or less, or a block, right? You know, and your whole town was right. Were there other people in your universe, other women around you that were also hustlers? Or was it a rare occasion?
No, not really.
No, okay. And then what about in Casper, Wyoming? Is that what it was?
Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Cheyenne, okay, yeah. Was there other female entrepreneurs or female hustlers or people?
My mom.
Okay. We get that, the gene pool lineage, right? Outside of your immediate family, was there like local people you could look up to that you saw in your environment or examples of other female entrepreneurs or hustlers? Were there?
There were a lot of people that had really big ambitions and goals, and I only ever saw a select few really chasing them, and everybody else was, really going for a safe lifestyle. Yeah. It's easy to pick that in comparison to the scary aspect of accomplishing your dreams. But
and was it balanced male and female? Was it mostly men you saw going for things?
It was mostly men. There was only a few gals throughout town that I was really gunning for to just go after it. And one gal actually, she did start a clothing company through there. I don't know if she's branched out since, but as far as that goes, not really. A lot of people either moved away, tried to find better opportunity other places because town was so small. There really wasn't that much room to grow aside from within there. You had to go out and chase, bigger opportunities. Most people ended up moving to Denver and stuff nearby.
That's the closest big city? Okay, gotcha. I used to live there. And any women that were local that you could look up to?
No, I lived in Hialeah, man. Nobody looks up to anybody there. Okay. Yeah, no.
Well, I mean, now you're here. So, women who are watching this, and listening to this can look up to you. To both of you. My mom worked, right, my whole life. And I only realized, after she passed and, getting a little older that, I just got really lucky. My mom was a hustler too. And I just kind of thought that's how it was. And I didn't even understand, sexism and racism to the degree that it actually exists in the world until I got out of my family. I was in a little bubble of unicorn land, for a while, and then I got out there in the rest of the world and I'm like, oh, wow, interesting, You've accomplished a lot at almost 300,000 followers or something on just your Instagram account.
700,000.
700,000. See, there you go. It went up overnight.
300,000
last I looked
in Hialeah.
Right? Exactly. So you're really on the move, right? So what has you say, hey, I want to become an influencer as well, or is it just natural kind of progression? You're on your way, girl.
It kind of happened by mistake. When I was younger, I had a roommate and she bought this camera at a yard sale. She was like, let me take pictures of you. And we had a pool table. Our house looked kind of cool. So we were doing photo shoots. And I started posting them on MySpace. And then my MySpace started blowing up and I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay, whatever.
I remember MySpace.
Remember?
I was there.
Good old days, yeah.
She didn't work for me and I wasn't one of her top 7 either.
He wasn't on my top 7 friends or whatever.
Is that how it was back then? It came and went pretty quick.
Yeah.
You had a list.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So then from there, it's around the same time I was in the tattoo magazine. So I was uploading the magazine covers and then photographers started hitting me up. Just because they wanted to shoot and I was like, okay, I don't know what to do with this. But from there, almost back then it was so different because to be a model, you had to be in print. Like you had to go to fucking Barnes and Noble to the magazine rack and find yourself there. It wasn't like now you do shoots to just post them on a social platform. So I was coming out in like all these tattoo magazines, and like pretty much everything I would shoot would be to submit to a tattoo magazine at some point for publication. And so it was really different.
So interesting. Sorry if I can interrupt, but so it was on you to deliver the photos? The tattoo magazine didn't send someone to do... Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then they would want
even though the brands
exclusive-
were pretty real, they were still a bit DIY in that respect. They didn't invest in sending photographers.
No.
Wow. You're shaking your head because you knew this. I didn't.
Tattoo
really.
magazines were the cheapest people in the world. You had to give them everything at a certain JPEG and the way they wanted
it. And you couldn't upload them anywhere. Like they had to be exclusive. So we would shoot all this content, which it wasn't even called content back then. And then we'd sit on those pictures until some magazine said, okay, we want them.
Did they pay you for the pictures?
No. You did that all for fucking... You know, to get seen.
That was the flex back then.
Just to develop your brand. I mean, now, thank goodness you have something.
But it was a flex because I was working in a tattoo shop and my little piercing booth had fucking 30 magazine covers with me in it. So everybody wanted to get pierced by me.
Yeah, okay, so it works.
So it works, you know? But yeah, it was just that. And then Facebook came along. Somehow I managed to get like 5 million followers on a Facebook page.
Wow.
Facebook deleted the fucking page. They hate me. But yeah, I'm always getting banned and shit.
Terrible.
But I somehow got 5 million followers on Facebook, so that blew up. And then that's when I started making money because people were paying me to run ads on my page.
Yeah. There you go.
And then Instagram, and then now it's like I feel like every day I'm learning because I came from that. And now I'm like, now I got to keep up with the 19-year-olds dancing on fucking TikTok. I'm not going to do this fucking dance, but now I got to figure out how to use TikTok as well. And what to post on Instagram so that I don't look like I'm almost fucking 40 next, you know, like on TikTok trying to dance. So
we believe in you, Vany.
Thanks. I mean, I'm not dancing, but I'm on TikTok. So I'm on all the shit. Yeah.
You're a hustler. You're from Hialeah. We get it.
Exactly.
You can get it done.
305. Dade County. No, but like, yeah. So all the social media apps, I'm on all of them, and I'm just like trying to keep up with this era of shit.
Right. Yeah. And so then you arrived in the world where all this was already happening digitally, right? So platforms you're using currently are what, Instagram and TikTok? Is there anything else?
Yeah. Instagram, TikTok, I still am kind of leery about it just because I'm not usually someone that I'm used to my face being in a camera. So to do things like that, I'm still working with being able to transition that for like just my tattooing and things. And
so you're not doing like little dance?
No, I don't dance.
Not at all. So and you two, you know, and you three, right?
I dance on TikTok.
Yeah, you do. I love it. You know,
he has OnlyFans.
Yeah, he's got this OnlyFans, right? You know, all of you are very forward thinking, right? And entrepreneurs, and you're paying attention, right? So, what do you think about AI and its impact on the industries and the lanes and the businesses that you're in right now? How do you see it having an impact? Are you paying attention to it?
I think it's gonna go in. I want to hope a good direction to be a tool us as artists can all utilize really good and, you know, do a lot of good work out of it.
And what would you use it for? For reference
Just
image?
referencing, to, you know, helping either with design work and stuff. I personally have not really delved too deep into the AI just because I like to watch other people test it first just to make sure.
Okay.
But
early adopter's not your thing. You want to see it's proven and then you don't.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard good, I've heard bad about how it's, you know, becoming a tool, but really I just want to see more with it before, like, personally I start using it with stuff. But hey, everything you can do it and it might work.
Yeah. Vany, what do you think?
I think it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, you are paying attention to it, right?
I think it's weird. I do. There's one thing I like about it. The AI writer, like when you need help writing something.
Social media content.
Yeah, or like captions or whatever. It's helpful with that. It's also helpful when I do my podcast. I'll be like in the AI thing, like, write 20 questions to ask a person who owns tattoo shops and is on a weight loss journey and this and this and this and wishes I worked for him forever. And it'll come up with like the questions for me, and I'm like, cool, I don't have to work.
Those. Did you send those to me?
And then, you just kind of change some words around, make it sound like yourself. So it's helpful with that. What I think is weird is like the AI girls that have like OnlyFans pages, and it's not a real human, and like
it's a totally AI generated personality that has an OnlyFans page.
Yeah, or like just AI generated people that are like making money. Like who's behind this? It's just weird as fuck. I think it's weird.
Yeah, it was definitely in development a couple of years ago. And I would hear people talking about this, that you'd be able to, on the internet, basically generate like a whole 3D model of a person that'd be like a customer service rep and someone that you would think, maybe that's a real person, and it's not. I had never thought about those people having OnlyFans pages or any kind of exclusive communities. Yet it is right in front of us, I definitely hear of artists using it to generate images, to be creative. I guess I'm in a constant inquiry myself for where it can and should be applied,
It's scary to me.
Super weird. Yeah.
Because like Taylor said, it's a tool, but I'm scared that we're actually the tool and it's going to take over. You understand? It's just like, I don't know.
I saw a robot doing somebody's eyelashes.
Interesting. Because I've often discussed that I don't believe anytime soon we're going to trust a robot to tattoo our ribs. Yet, if somebody was doing eyelashes,
I don't know. I think that there'd be people standing in line to get a tattoo by a robot only because they want to say, I got that experience.
Just because they want to.
The eyelash thing, it was this girl's head was like in a box, and she had like this white thing that like, I guess covered her eyelid, and it was just like a machine putting lashes on her fucking eyelid.
Well, there goes my daughter's job.
It looked creepy.
It's like,
but that's what I'm saying. Exactly. It's like fucked up because people learn like how to do these things. Like doing eyelashes is fucking hard. It's tedious as fuck. And now like this robot's just gonna take people's jobs. Even restaurant servers.
Yeah, I was at a place the other day where a robot came over and had the food. I was like, no, stop. Really would rather talk to a human, and I wanted to shut it off. There was no button, and it had my food, and I'm like, what's going on?
They got little delivery bots taking like Uber Eats to you now,
and the drones that drop stuff into your backyard.
And I wonder if by the time that this comes out, they'll figure out the drones over New Jersey. Hopefully, they'll figure out what that is. But in Japan, they have drones that will deliver a pizza into your living room. But why they do that is because then once they're inside your house, they take pictures of everything. So then they know what you buy, and they're creating a buying profile on you.
Or they know what to steal.
Yeah. Well, it's also like you use Arm & Hammer, you use Lysol, and it's taking pictures so that it can land the pizza. But then it also wants to know what you're buying so that Amazon can hit you with the right advertising. I don't know if any of those uses are going to be applicable, in our industries, but we got to, keep our eye on what we can use, how to make life easier. I'm glad you're using it for social media. At least that helps you, right? Cut out the time that you had to think about those interviews. And then you're in the solo studio now, right? So you're just thinking about building a clientele. And that's your main event right now in South Florida?
The nice thing is because I just switched locations, I still have a great clientele base here. But I'm just I'm giving myself a little bit more mental leeway to be able to focus more on my artwork personally and still have time for, my full career of tattooing, mainly so I can take advantage of time with my daughter.
Right.
It works together really good. So I like the change. I did not at first. That was a lot to go from. And then going back to basics from, start. But I really appreciate it now.
Got it. What tattoo design approaches are you most pulled towards? What's your favorite styles?
Right now, neo-traditional falls into a lot of what I design. And just come up with and things. I like that new vibrant art style and things, but I think out of everything, like traditional, that's always gonna have a good spot in my heart.
It's great. We have so many guests that have different takes on it, on what can and should be tattooed these days and what's there to do and whatnot. Are you thinking about any more tattoos?
I want to finish a bunch of shit that I have unfinished.
Is this a cover up on your shoulder over here?
Yeah, this is the whole thing. Yeah.
What was it?
What wasn't it is a better question. I had an owl. I had brass knuckles because I'm super fucking tough or whatever. A cupcake.
Hell yeah.
I had a hot dog right here because I went to Chicago and I'm like, tattoo a hot dog. I had
wiser choices have been made.
Slice of pizza in here
you went to New York?
with a plantain. No, because my dad's Dominican and Italian, so I'm like, yeah, a plantain pizza for dad. Yeah. So what didn't I have? Oh, Bride of Frankenstein was back here.
Awesome.
Just a bunch of garbage, basically. So now it's black.
No offense to the tattoo artist that did them.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck them all, actually.
And then on the other side?
This I started when I was like 17, never finished. It's just flowers and a pond.
Who's the little boy?
That's the little boy from Meet the Robinsons. And he was a little baseball player, so that's kind of like a little tribute to my brother. And then I have like a porcupine and a bunny.
Nice. Just random stuff.
And things like Torque Team on my hands. Because this is what happens when you start getting tattooed when you're like 12.
Just get super random stuff.
Yeah, I used to have Ratchet tattooed right here. I covered it.
Do you have any cover-ups?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was there before?
God.
It's a really good advice to younger people, Right? Get fine line tattoos because they're going to disappear by the time you change your mind anyway.
Eventually, just black that shit out.
And if all else fails, just black.
Yeah, just black it out.
You had a lion?
I had a lion.
With blue eyes?
Blue
eyes. Yeah. Fucking, legit. Lion, rose, clock I have to cover.
Oh my God, she was here for the last
You were in the last interview. Exactly. That's all everyone gets.
Yeah, and then, this was actually unintentional. I had just gotten in Dynamic Triple Black, and I was so excited about it. I was like, so my client had rescheduled that day, and I was like, well, fine, screw you anyways. I'm going to find out about this. And so I was hyping myself up about it. It's supposed to be like the darkest black at that moment. So I started shading, and, I have my snowflakes that were coming up, and I was like, yeah, I'll add these in. Well, I started shading, and I was watching a movie, Wolf of Wall Street in the background, so I'm like,
wow. And you were a bit distracted, huh?
Like, oh shit, my whole fucking arm.
She reached her fucking elbow by the time the movie ended.
Yeah, I took a lunch break and everything. I was like, wonder what direction I'm going with this. I'll figure it out as I go. Up.
Freedom. Wow. Do you have any particular ink companies that you're like, hey, this is what I like?
I like the brand Soul right now.
Soul, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I liked their pack.
Okay. And then who sponsors you so we can switch her over?
Yeah.
Don't you have any
Girl
company
math.
that you
I
like
the
most?
packaging?
Yeah.
Girl math, right? What ink companies do you work with in the studio?
I only work with industry.
There you go, Industry Ink. Yeah,
And
so we have to switch you over to convert you to the bright side. And what was the second one?
Allegory.
Black.
Which might be darker.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
No, it is.
It is dark.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're supposed to say.
I'll get you my sample bottle. Right.
Yeah.
Vany, did you have a piercing day last month at Chico shop?
No, he wants me to.
But
appearance. I don't want to get a whole ass license and shit for like a day, bro.
But you can work under my license.
You can?
Yeah.
Yeah. My question is, do you ever?
As long as the Board of Health ain't watching us, yeah, we good.
Are you? Do you feel compelled to pierce at all? Does it ever come up? Or you're like, oh, I just want to.
I only feel that way when I'm in a tattoo shop, and I'm like, oh, cute.
Yeah.
Somebody who am I gonna stab today?
You know how many times she stopped me and says, "I can do it. Why don't you just let me do it?"
Yeah. He was like,
there was a piercing day right after the convention.
I took a friend and she was getting a bunch of like piercings done, and I'm like, let me just fucking mark it
and
for
Chico, you
like,
did the piercings?
Yeah.
But
under very supervision.
Under my supervision. And I'm like, let me just mark it right here. Stop. Put like what, and I'm just like, yeah, there. Okay. He's like, can I fucking do it now? I'm like, yes. Okay. Those are the only times I want to.
It's only when you're in the studio, then you're feeling like, oh,
once
okay,
I leave,
maybe.
I'm like, I absolutely do not want to be somewhere for 9 hours a day.
Okay, it's that kind of component.
You know, I'm hiring part-time right now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's up. Listen, everybody, he's hiring part-time if anybody needs a job. He's looking for artists, apprentice, full staff.
Producers.
Check out his OnlyFans.
And
So with young people, right, where you both were, you know, in your early teens and you know, you caught a bug, the tattoo industry, and also doing things on your own. What kind of advice would you give young people, I guess young particular girls, right? Or people who identify as girls coming up? Like, you know, what kind of advice would you give the 13-year-old version of them and you? How about that? Let's start with Vany. What kind of advice would you give your 13-year-old self and a 13-year-old who's being dragged into the tattoo industry because the energy of the universe is just doing it?
Any other 13-year-old at this time, I would probably say to have a backup plan, because I feel like everything is so fucking oversaturated. I feel that way about, I don't think tattoos are going anywhere, obviously, but it's, as the years pass, I feel like it's gonna get harder and harder for people to like become that it artist that's like booked all the time, that is actually making a really good living. And also, if you're not killing it, is it worth killing yourself because you're in a fucking shop all day and it becomes like your baby if you own the shop? You know, like the time you spend at home, you're fucking literally breaking your back, literally getting arthritis and shit. Like, is that all going to be worth it, you know, in the end? So I would, and that's really in any industry, especially now with the more popular industries or like even content creating, I would say like have a backup plan just in case.
Got it. I think I hear as well, like do more things with your art. Right? And I don't think you mean backup plan like learn how to flip burgers.
No,
you're like
yeah,
hey,
but
have
different avenues.
Right, different lanes, different pipelines of revenue, different ways you creatively express yourself.
Like don't put all your eggs in one basket, basically.
Right, I got you. And especially in the creative fields, that's how you feel about it?
Yeah.
Or is it just in general you think things are getting so saturated?
I mean, I don't know now with the AI shit. I don't know. And I haven't had like a regular job to compare anything to since I was, 15. So I don't.
Okay, got it.
I don't know. But even in the creative space, like I do a little bit of everything, you know?
Actually, she does a lot of everything.
I do a lot of things. Yeah.
And it all gels together for you.
Yeah. So like I made like the brand of Vany, and then it's just like under the umbrella of Vany is just like a million other things.
Yeah, give us some of the lines of revenue and creative expression businesses you have.
Okay. So I buy and resell vintage toys and clothing. That's one thing.
That's Vany Vicious Clothing?
No,
Vicious
it's
Clothing?
called Throwback Garage.
Throwback Garage.
Yeah.
Okay, solid.
And then I had a bikini store called Hot Floss. I just ended that not too long ago because it's
good naming convention.
I'm really clever with the names. I have another online store that I sell like witchy stuff, crystals, incense, candles, all that stuff. It's called Sacred Mob. So Throwback Garage and Sacred Mob are both on Etsy and eBay. I during this time also started a supplement brand called 1111. I sold that. I have the podcast.
You built it and sold it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I have the podcast now.
She had a tarot card thing. She read my cards and she did
tarot,
well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She was on point.
Well, she was on point, huh?
Yeah, she was.
How do you get into learning how to read tarot cards?
I don't. My aunt, like I'm Cuban. We all do that shit. My aunt one day at her house was like, "Here, you want a deck of cards?" I'm like, "Sure." And I read the book and I'm like, "Cool, I could do this."
Witchy.
I started.
You have to have a genetic lineage of witches or or covens or something.
Part of the circle. I don't know. Yeah, so I've been reading tarot for like 9 years.
Wow. Is it people pay you to do that? Or you just do it for wow. Did Chico
I don't like promote it though.
I did. Yeah. And I would have got more except my Cash App got canceled for illegal gambling.
Yeah.
So it was like,
I don't really do I don't promote it anymore. There was a point where I was promoting it on Instagram, but I was doing like 30 readings a night and shit, and it was like too much.
Exhausting,
like draining.
So you were doing this at the studio? Like you would do piercings and then tarot card readings?
No. This was like way after. Yeah, I haven't pierced in I don't know, 15 years or something. It's been a
Okay.
long time. But yeah, this was after I was just doing it like on the internet, Instagram lives or whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were reading tarot cards for people that weren't physically in the room?
Mm-hmm.
And it still has the energetic power?
Ask him.
She was on
Really?
point. I don't know if it's because she knew me.
He was like texting me like, what the fuck?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I tried to get another 5 minutes out of her, but I couldn't.
So your overall advice to younger people, is to be eclectic, be diverse.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the internet, because it can, blow up tomorrow. Like now all these TikTokers are freaking out that TikTok might become extinct as of January. So they're like, what do I do?
Right.
It's like kids that have, made hundreds of thousands of dollars in a year doing TikTok, and now the shit,
it's a really good insight. Yeah.
we might not have it.
Right.
So-
And you said you had 5 million fans on Facebook, and then they shut the page down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shut all her pages down.
Yeah. I'm always like appealing.
Every 2 or 3
and-
months,
all the
you see her
time,
say
huh?
backup page.
Yeah, new page, follow this, please, whatever.
Wow. Yeah, really, really good advice. Sound advice. What about you, Taylor? What do you think?
Oh.
Young people coming out, what kind of advice would you give them from an entrepreneurial perspective?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the entrepreneur view there, be your most authentic self, regardless of any way you're going to chase your dreams. Be authentic and don't let anyone tell you that what to be here or do this there. Choose a path of least resistance that makes you the happiest.
Awesome. Spot on. I wish somebody would tell me that. Took me a while to figure it out. What about you, Chico? Work for Chico? Is that the answer?
He's hiring.
I would told myself that I should have hired people at a younger age before they went to Leo's and stuff like that. But honestly, I tell myself to follow my dreams and not doubt myself. I think I doubted myself way too long, and I waited for shit to hit rock bottom before I looked up.
I hear you.
And always have a plan B.
Mm-hmm.
Always have a plan B
Mm-hmm.
in every aspect of your life.
Yeah. Well, you also had a record store, you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
So you've had many, many life incarnations.
Oh my God, I've had over 50 types of jobs. Yeah, I did it all.
Yeah.
And tattooing picked me. I don't think I picked it till this day. I kind of like fell into it, because I sucked at it, and I'm still here.
Yeah, I got a friend in Austin, and it says that tattooing chooses you.
Yeah,
and that's it. And once she grabs a hold of you, or piercing. I mean, she grabbed a hold of you, Vany. She wanted to tattoo you. She wanted you to express it. But it's a certain creative energy force that just is out there, and it pulls you in.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a thing. Well, there's a real thing called the tattoo gods. I don't know if you believe in it or not,
I do.
but it's weird. The more you give, not into the industry. There's a difference between the industry and the culture. I think it's when you give to the culture, somehow it shines on you and it gives back. And it usually gives back more than you gave. But I really think that I'm only here because I gave so many people a chance.
I hear you.
So I think I don't know, it's like paying forward, I guess.
I hear you. Yeah. I mean, after 13 years with Think Different, I'm just amazed every day that we still get to do it, that we still get to be around. And I do think if we put good energy out there, it comes back. It might not come back exactly as you're thinking about it, but if you're true to yourself and you have multiple ideas and you believe in yourself and you commit to a culture and you commit to being helpful, then you can go to sleep at night and wake up knowing that everything is probably going to be okay. Is what I'm believing and praying for every day, Awesome. Thanks everyone for being here. We're going to wrap on that high note. If that's a high note. I want to thank you both for being here. Thank you for leading the way, and showing that it's not just a bunch of broskies, that there's powerful,
What do you mean? We're bros.
creative.
Yeah,
You can be bros too, just showing everyone, that there's a path and a place for them here. We really appreciate it. Awesome.
Real quick, Taylor, how can they get in touch with you if they need you?
Oh, if you look me up on Instagram, I am Tay_stay tatted.
Hey, and Vany?
Official Vany Vicious everywhere.
Is that the best way to get in touch with you?
I don't want anybody DMing me. So.
Okay, yeah. That's the same thing, Beth?
Yeah,
Okay,
Facebook, I'm Taylor Marley.
Cool. Chico?
Chico M4L or M4L underscore?
M4L_Chico.
That's my rep. There you go.
Exactly.
That's why he wants me to work for him.
And if you're watching this, you're probably at Ink Different Tattoos. So thanks for joining us. If you liked the episode, please share. Give us, stars and likes and tell your friends about it. And we'll be here next week. Ciao. Bye.
Remember, if you like what we're doing, follow, share, and subscribe.
And if you really like what we're doing, please give us a 5-star review. It really helps.